Well, welcome to another episode of the CrossFit Llanelli podcast. And it's been a bit of a while. There's been a bit of a break, but we're back and we're excited to have on this episode one of our coaches, Darren Bowen. We've just finished at the CFL mixed pairs competition, and congratulations to Steve and Becca, who landed up on the podium in the Everyday Athletes section. Congratulations to everyone who took part and everyone who helped that competition to be yet another banger in the CrossFit Llanelli series. And it sort of got the ball rolling, or the cogs turning, ticking over, to want to discuss like competition in CrossFit, the good and the bad of competition, how it helps us, what some of the pitfalls of stressing too much about competition might be. And so we've got Darren jumping on the pod to find out a little bit more about him, how he got into CrossFit in the first place, his favorite movements, a couple of things like that, but also to try and like get into the mind of someone who is by nature very competitive, to try and unpick and unpack like how powerful and important competition can be. So without further ado, let's get on with it.
Woo! CrossFit, baby!
Yeah, how was that?
That's great, mate. You do look massively tanned, though.
I was away in Spain last week for 4 nights. So managed to get a bit of sun.
Sunbathing?
No, neither actually. We don't sunbathe much, just a lot of walking.
So it was actual holiday, not work.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. It was nice to nice to jump on a plane and not have to worry about seeing customers the other side, you know.
Yeah. We're up to date.
I did with Mr. Mark Davies and myself.
How'd it go?
All right, the pull-ups got a bit tasty. It was the latter part of the WOD, but it was good. We got into the 27th round, one pull-up into the 27th round. So,
Ooh,
yeah, we'll take that.
That is tasty. I think we got 5 press-ups into the 27th round.
Typical, isn't it? Yeah. It was good, wasn't it? Nice to change, partner up in the middle of the week.
So, I wanted to speak to you about like competing in competition.
Yeah.
And, like how you think we should view that in the context of just like as a tool for our CrossFit journeys. Does that make sense? So I know like some people will have strong opinions. Oh, we definitely should be competing. Some people might have strong opinions. Definitely should be competing. But like because you are someone who enters competitions.
Reluctantly, I will say.
Say again.
Reluctantly, I will say.
Okay. Well, you can couch it however you want, but like the competition goes from, like organized things that we're training for and signing up for, all the way down to the fact that we measure all of our workouts. You know, there's an element of competition, even if it's just with Darren being given the WOD and you've got to finish it in a certain amount of time or get the most number of reps or lift the heaviest weight or whatever. So there's competition like in all of those different ways. So maybe it's best to just get an idea of whether Darren is a competitive guy or not, and explain like your sporting background and how you got into CrossFit.
Okay. I've always been a very, very competitive person. Played golf for many, many years. And it was always, golf is very, very competitive as well. When you get to a sort of certain level, people are always watching you. Do you know what I mean? And what I found difficult about it was they only pick up on the sort of bad things you do.
Okay.
They never talk about the good things. So for me, that sort of drove me then to try and hit the best shot every time I could. And that's just golf. I mean, I've always been the same. Football was the same. I mean, when I was playing against, there was no way they were going to beat me. You know, they'd get past me once or twice, but not a third. And I think that's one thing that's driven me, or drawn me, then I should say, to CrossFit, is that competitive side of things. But I have come to learn very, very quickly that the competition for me is with myself.
Yes.
Going back possibly 12 months ago, I was watching everything. I was watching people's scores. You know what I mean? I was seeing, like, have I finished above this one? Have I finished above that one? Have I beaten this one? And it was just putting pressure on myself all the time, and I was trying to do too much. I had a lot of injuries from it. So at this moment in time, I just try to be the best that I can on that day.
So I know that when you say you were drawn to CrossFit for the competition, you've told me plenty of times about being involved in boot campy type things and circuit training and things like that. Did you feel then that there was like a more competitive atmosphere to CrossFit than the other things that you've been doing?
What I'd say about CrossFit and the experience I'm getting in CrossFit Llanelli is there's that element of competition, but it's not sort of what's the word I'm thinking of now? It's a more friendly competition. So we used to do a lot of circuit training in DW, and it'd be a hardcore of us would work out together. We do these workouts together, and it was always a case of you were watching the next person. So if you knew somebody was going to push ups, you'd be watching them, and you'd make sure you did more. But it was more of a sort of aggressive sort of competition, if that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? There wasn't that sort of camaraderie afterwards where you could say, "Yeah, oh, you smashed me in our wad, what have you?" It was it was a case of you wouldn't say they knew that you'd beaten them, and you knew you'd beaten them, but it was never discussed. It was in the environment I was in there. It was more of an ego thing. But I don't find that so much in CrossFit Llanelli.
When you started doing CrossFit with us in Llanelli, how long until you signed up for your first comp?
I think it was possibly 8 months in,
Okay.
but I signed up for a mixed pairs with Eleanor Thomas.
Yeah.
But me being me, I didn't feel as if I was ready for the competition. I wanted to be far further down the road, if you like, far better at CrossFit than I was at that particular time. But again, me being a people's person, again, you know, Eleanor said, "Oh, will you do it with me and this and that?" And again, I think Eleanor joined around the same time as me. So I agreed to it.
How'd you get on? I seem to remember you guys doing all right in that comp.
So yeah, I think I'm we finished possibly 6th, I think. Possibly 6th. It was a weightlifting that led us both down to that.
So you've joined CrossFit, but not in order to be competitive. That wasn't your motivation for joining CrossFit, was it? Or was it to right? I'm going to do this. It's a new sport, and I'm going to be the best in Wales.
In an ideal world, Sam, yeah, that's right. I would love to be, but I think I got to a position in the commercial gym where I was going through the motions, if you like. Do you know what I mean? It was pretty much the same thing all the time. A couple of people left, new people came in, and it just wasn't the same. And that sort of competitive edge, if you like, that we had at one particular time wasn't there. And I wasn't pushing myself in the workouts. And I needed a new challenge, if you like. And I knew CrossFit Llanelli was around the corner, and it was something I'd been toying with for some time. I did 6 months in a CrossFit gym in Swansea, and I needed an operation on my shoulder, so I stopped on that. But then I went back to DW, and I wanted to be in a position where I didn't want to look silly in the CrossFit gym. I wanted to have some sort of fitness level and some sort of strength. And I'm looking back now, if if I was going to be in the position I wanted to be in, it would have taken me a lot longer than the 12 months after my operation to be where I wanted to be, if that makes sense.
So that was kind of like from I say bravado sort of point of view, as in you knew that you were going into an environment where not necessarily a judgmental environment, but people would be looking at you, people would be seeing what you were doing, and you wanted to present a version of yourself that was of a standard.
Yes, exactly that. Yes, and it's not knowing a lot about CrossFit at the time. It make no balls about it. It has got a stigma. Do you know what I mean? And there's a lot of egos around, but I think I can openly, honestly say that with us, that there is none of that. And I think that's one of the things which sort of holds people back from joining the CrossFit gym.
Mm. But going back, sorry, a question I did ask, you didn't join CrossFit as like, oh, here's an environment where I can start to dominate and win lots of competitions. You joined CrossFit because you saw the benefit fitness-wise, health-wise.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, I did a little bit of research before joining. I did 6 months prior to joining CrossFit Llanelli. Like I said, it was probably just over 18 months before joining CrossFit Llanelli. And I knew it was going to be a new challenge. I knew there was different skills I'd need to learn. I'd never done any Olympic weightlifting in my life. Gymnastics, well, you know what I mean? I was a 47-year-old guy. Never done handstand, never been upside down in my life. So
Still haven't.
that was the sort of things that I was looking forward to learning. And that still learning now.
Learn it, yeah. So would you say, well, let's just explore that then. Like, there is obviously that getting inside your head element of it, that like need that we sometimes have to prove ourselves to people around us, which is a really difficult thing to deal with. But like, what's the positive sides, do you reckon, of competition? We encourage people to do the open. We've just had the mixed pairs comp again in the gym. We've got other people going out and doing various competitions in places. There's going to be the in-house mixed abilities pairs coming up. Give me something of the positive of why someone who isn't like, oh, I've got to prove myself, would still think that competition was a worthwhile thing to do.
I think entering a competition, it does bring out the competitive edge in people, especially if you're in a team. Do you know what I mean? You're in that environment. You've got a lot of people around you. You want to do your best, and you want to do your best for your team. And to me, that's what brings out the competition in people. I think. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but I think you've got to be of a certain competitive nature to enter the competition.
Yeah, indeed. But I suppose what I'm trying to get at is the fact that even if you don't have like, hello,
Sorry.
if you don't like have these ambitions to podium and win or progress through various levels of the open and things like that, something you described like the end of your time in EW was just going through the motions, where there's no real goals other than like, it's class time. I go to this class. I'm going to do it. I hope I beat that guy because he's smug and I know that I'm fitter than him, whatever it is. But like, I'm sure this is level 1 stuff of like basically having something to work towards, because being fitter being healthier is like such an abstract idea, and it's hard to measure like from week to week, that is really helpful to have moments where we test ourselves. That's what we say about the open massively, isn't it? That every year you
Yeah.
do it again and again, and those are different
Mhm.
tests to get like this idea of your progress. But also, there's something to work for. There's something that just like flicks a switch in you or sharpens you and makes you think about how you're training, how you're eating, how you're sleeping. These are all parts of CrossFit as well.
Mhm.
Makes you think about, well, where am I? What are my weaknesses? Like, do I want to go into this next comp and still not be able to do a handstand walk? Turns out I don't want to, but yes, I am going into another comp and not being able to handstand
Yeah,
walk.
yeah.
But like, there's that. So competitions present themselves as ways for us just to focus our attention and our efforts, I think. Do you reckon?
I think the initial competition is within yourself, isn't it? If you've got goals, and that's what should bring out the competitive side of you. Is right, okay, I want to get a muscle up. It depends on how competitive you are to be able to get that muscle up. It's sometimes it'll come easy to people. Other people it takes a lot longer to learn that skill.
I remember speaking to Reese Sam's about I think it was the first or second time they did quarterfinals out of the Open. And his take on it was that because they'd increased the number of people participating, the requirements, if you like, the expected skills and strength and things like that were going to go down. And he was saying that he thought it was a shame because it wouldn't drive people to try and do something. As in, if you knew that there was a comp coming up and well, muscle ups is not a bad example, is it?
Mm.
The Open is coming round, and you're pretty certain there's going to be muscle ups at some point in the
Yeah.
Open.
Mhm.
You've got a goal, you've got a target of the muscle up, but it puts like a time frame on it, and I think it like elevates that. Well, muscle up would be nice, but then all of a sudden it's a muscle. So that I can do a muscle up when it happens in the Open and finish high on the leaderboard or whatever.
Yeah.
That having competitions, gives us that. It's like a ticking clock. Like the
Mhm.
time is coming where you're going to have to be fit enough, you're going to have to be strong enough, you're going to have to be skilled enough to do these
That's on the skill,
things.
yeah.
Um, I could think examples myself would be something like double unders and how I can let the whole year go where I'm just happy and content with being absolute garbage at double unders. But all of a sudden, it's like 3 weeks until the Open, and I'm thinking, flip the neck. I'm going to have to do
Right.
double unders in the next month, and I have to do them well. And all of a sudden, I start practicing, and
Mm.
having that there has slowly but surely helped me be better at that part of my fitness. Does that make sense?
Yes, no, it makes perfect sense. I mean, doesn't it? I mean, we all start somewhere, don't we? And CrossFit is a classic example. You will get somebody who's a very, very good Olympic lifter, but their gymnastic skills isn't there. But CrossFit will get them. So we use a muscle up example. Stick with it. They're a very, very good Olympic lifter, but their gymnastic skills is no good. They can't do a muscle up. But CrossFit then will enable them to get that skill by sticking to the progressions. And it's that sort of thing that you need to work towards to
Mm.
get the relevant skills you need.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been trying to push now, like the positives of competition, that people shouldn't be afraid to go, oh, I'm not good enough, I'm not strong enough,
Right.
I'm not going to enter the Open, I'm not going to enter the Community Cup is coming up, I'm not going to go and do the mixed abilities comp that the gym is going to be organising soon. But you really should. and you won't win it, and you won't get on the podium, and you shouldn't really care if you get on the podium or not. But it'll give you that bump in your training. It'll give you that push to
It's a
do.
line in the stand for him, isn't it? You know?
Yeah. And ultimately, I think we believe, don't we, that being better at CrossFit means that you are a healthier human being as well. That like
Mhm.
health and fitness is just a continuum, isn't it? So
Mm.
even if your goals aren't to be competitive in the open or competitive in competitions, whatever your goals are, entering competitions actually will probably help you get there quicker or move further along that. But you've alluded to some of the problems with competitions, and I think that's like the mental part of it especially. Um, but like how have you seen for you competitions be a negative thing? Can I ask you to be vulnerable?
Competition being negative. Again, it goes back to a comment I made earlier, Sammy, that I don't believe and I don't feel as if I have a wide enough skill set to enter competitions, and I feel as if I'm a little bit exposed to that. It's it's not the way to think. I mean, competition is there for everyone. I think, but you do need that little competitive edge within yourself to be able to push.
People, I say people, there's a quote. I wish I knew who it was by. Maybe it's just like one of those general things by now that isn't by anyone. But comparison is the thief of joy. That if we live our lives always comparing ourselves to other
Yeah.
people or desiring something that other people have got, that is not going to eat away at us in terms of our CrossFit abilities, but it will eat away at us like emotionally, psychologically. Um, and we've spoken a couple of times now about the muscle up, and I know that might even having that as part of this discussion really puts some people off because they think I'm never going to get that. That's not me, and that
Mm.
sort of sends folks into a spiral of I can't. I'm not as good. I wish I was like them,
Yeah.
etc., etc. And competitions, as much as giving us an opportunity to focus and to sharpen and to move forward, in that sense, they also give us a massive opportunity just to wallow in self pity and spiral into self loathing and
Mm.
really mess up with our heads.
It's easy to get into that mindset, Sammy. It is indeed, like you're saying, comparing yourself to other people. It doesn't help in the long run. It doesn't. It may give you an initial boost, but personally, I think it's a dangerous place to go down with your training. Um, like I said, we've all got different skills. Um, you may trying to get this particular skill that somebody else has got, and you're training so hard for it, you'll end up injuring yourself. You know, and you don't progress correctly. You don't work on the strict strength, which I think we see a lot in the gym. People just go straight into to a skill, but no, hang on, let's get the strict strength. Let's work on the progression, the stages through it to get you technically correct, to make sure that you're safe and you're not going to injure yourself.
Speaking like a good coach who has had the health and safety briefing from the openers as well. Okay, Dan, I wanna get to know you just a little bit more before we finish. All right. So if you could program any WOD, okay, what
Right.
type of WOD would it be for you? Would it be AMRAP? Would it be for time? Would it be intervals? Like what's the type of WOD that comes up that you're like, yes, I love these.
An AMRAP would be right up my street, and it would be higher reps, lower weights. That would be
Okay.
my sort of one. So put the barbell out. Let's have a lighter weight on the barbell. I mean, let's not hit the 61s, the 70s. Let's go down more towards the 43s. So it would be an AMRAP. It would include a lightweight, and it would include some sort of cardio, such as running, possibly bike rowing. So a little couplet like that, I think. A little clean and jerk couplet, and a row thrown in as well.
Okay. Time domain?
Oh, sorry?
Time domain? How long is the AMRAP?
How long is the AMRAP? If you're looking at a couplet,
Don't forget the couplet for you. Like, what is the workout you're like, yes, it's 15 minutes.
I like a chipper, Sammy. I like a chipper. I prefer a longer one, personally.
Okay. So give us a time.
I think it's what I've been used to over the years. I guess, coming from a commercial gym, it's always been a case of lighter weights, lots of reps. So I think I'm sort of more programmed towards those sort of workouts, longer workouts. And I think I can manage those better. When I see like a 9-minute or maybe a 12-minute workout, tend to go a little bit too quick probably at the start.
Mm-hmm.
So the pacing is key for those shorter ones.
Okay, so something a bit longer, decently light, with cardio thrown in as well. Okay.
No wall balls; they're not allowed.
Right. Well, don't preempt my questions, Darren. If you could delete one movement from the CrossFit world, what would it be?
It would be wall ball.
100%
it would be wall balls. Yeah. I think it's more of a mind issue with me now. It's I just don't know. I just pick the ball up. I'm sort of 5-6 reps in, and I'm like, oh, you're going to struggle with these. You're going to struggle with these, and it's something I've got to learn to move away from that sort of mindset and turn it and flip it on his head and be more positive.
In a sort of self-talk kind of way, as in, you start doing them, and all of a sudden, naughty Darren is there going, "You're not good enough for this. This is going to hurt."
Yeah, that's exactly right, Sam.
Yeah, self-talk, I think, is such a massive part
it,
as well. Like, link between the mind and the body is huge, isn't it?
It is. I mean, you can easily talk yourself out of a good performance in a WOD, which is what I do every time with wall balls. But I want to avoid a wall ball WOD. In fact, I'll approach it with the best mindset I can. But I know once those first few reps in, I'm like, yeah, I think we did one, not last week, the week before. Was it 80 or 90 wall balls, I believe? There was some, I can't remember. My memory's terrible these days. But there was some sort of movement before it, and then there was 80 wall balls. And I said to myself, right, okay, 90 wall balls, sorry. Let's break that up into 9 sets of 10. And I did it. I completed it 9 sets of 10 as I wanted to in my head. But I'm looking back at it and I was thinking, well, you could have actually done 15 reps because I did the 10 and I was just resting. I was already every 40 seconds we'll do 10 reps. And I could easily have done 15 reps, no problem at all.
This is why you always do a redo in the open, but that's an entirely different discussion.
That's a totally different conversation. Yeah.
So you love AMRAPs, you want to delete wall balls, you're in class, you're not coaching, someone else is coaching, and they need someone to demo. What is the movement that you would like to be called upon to demo the most?
Oh, I think it would be a GHD sit-up.
Let us show you how to do a GHD sit-up. Darren, get on, son. That's it.
Yeah.
Wow. That's bold. Well done.
Yeah. I do enjoy a GHD sit-up. No, it's
fair enough. So, got any comps coming up?
Not CrossFit wise, no comps. Like I said, I haven't been dragged into any anyway.
Okay, well,
I know there's a few competing on Saturdays, and down in Pembroke.
Yeah,
I'm hoping to find a bit of time to pop down and give a bit of support. I got a very busy calendar at the moment, shall I say?
Yep. That's something to be aware of as well, isn't it? Is that?
The daughter
18.
turning 18 tomorrow, so
Is that right?
yeah.
Oh, smashing.
Uh,
Well, make sure that you put your hand up when it comes to this in-house CrossFit anyway, the mixed abilities.
oh, we'll get into that, that's for sure. We'll do that
Yeah.
one. That's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Right. Well, my man, thank you very much. It's been a
All
pleasure.
right. No
And
problem, Sammy. It's good to speak.
it's probably about time you went to have some dinner.
Finish with 100 wall balls.
Well, I just want to say a massive thank you for Darren for jumping on. Darren hadn't even had dinner yet. He'd been back from the gym, jumped in the shower, and then agreed to come on and chat to us about that. So thank you for doing that, pal. To flag up a couple of things that are happening in the life of CrossFit Llanelli then. Many of us will have seen that there is a new WhatsApp community. Don't ask me what a WhatsApp community is. As far as I understand it, it's a way of having groups and subgroups and for the box to be able to communicate things and about things with folks who aren't on the regular social media channels. So they've let us know about it through social media channels. So if you haven't heard about it yet, then I recommend speaking to one of the coaches, finding about that, making sure you grab onto it on your WhatsApp so that you don't miss out on the times, the dates, the come-ins, the go-ins, the tips, the tricks, the various things that are going to be on there. That's the new CrossFit Llanelli WhatsApp community that is now going live. I want to say, not congratulations. What is it that you say to someone before a competition? Good luck. Good luck to those who are heading down west this weekend to the CrossFit Pembrokeshire Mayhem competition. And I think we've got quite a few people going to compete in both RX and the skills division. So let's go and represent our gym really well in that. And just to flag up that there are 2 other opportunities to compete at CrossFit Llanelli coming up. The first of which you can sign up already. That is the CrossFit Community Cup. It's the next level, the next thing that comes after the CrossFit Open. Depending on how you finished, how you placed, you'll then be put into a new competition, which is a couple of workouts over a longish weekend against people who are of a similar level to you. So if you go into your CrossFit Games profile, you'll see that you now have a level and you'll be paired up, you'll be matched up with folks who are either the level above you or below you so that you can really push yourself and test yourself in ability, appropriate workouts against people who have proven themselves to be of a similar ability. Just have a little Google if you want. CrossFit Games Community Cup. There's already loads of us signed up and it's going to be a banging time, I think, in the box. The second competition that is coming up will be a little bit further down the line. And that is, I have heard on the grapevine, a little mixed abilities competition. In-house, not inviting folks from outside. But for those who want to take part, our coaches who see us, who know us probably better than we know ourselves in terms of our abilities, are going to be matching us up and pairing us up. Sounds like a fun idea to me. And I really would quite like to be the scaled to your RX. So make sure you sign up and use competition as a way of progressing in your fitness and your health. I'm sure there are lots of shout outs that I could be doing for life events, for people having taken part in other competitions, but I'm almost cripplingly afraid of mentioning some and forgetting others. So if you've done something special in the last month, consider this a well done to you. Okay, well, see you on the whiteboard. Peace.